According to the Virginia Tech Transport Institute, the time that it takes to look down at your phone and type LOL and press send takes around 5 seconds, and traveling at 55 miles an hour, you will have traveled the distance of 100 yards, the equivalent of a football field. In that distance, you could have ran into a vehicle that's pulling out into the road, a child that had run out into the middle of the road, or even just a signpost or a telephone pole. Everyone nowadays seems to have lost respect for driving. They feel that it's a right and not a privilege. As a young adult, I often struggle with texting and driving, seeing as how I'm always trying to stay constantly in contact with my friends and seeing what everyone is up to on social media. Also, I'm a motorcyclist and a bicyclist, and it really gets on my nerves when someone cuts me off or tries to merge into my lane simply because they're not paying attention to what's going on around them. There are many ways that you can avoid the distraction of texting and driving, and some of them can be as simple as just turning the phone off while you're driving. Let's look at some of the stats. In 2005, AAA did a survey that found out that 6,000 15 to 20-year-olds die every year due to texting and driving. This $300 device can kill everyone's hopes and dreams and all of their accomplishments in 10 to 15 seconds, just depending on what they're doing at the time. If you choose to text and drive, you're putting yourself at risk and everyone else around you. And if you do not value other people's lives, then you really need to reevaluate your priorities. Using a cell phone, hands-free or otherwise, distracts your driving as much as having a blood alcohol level of 0.08%, according to the University of Utah. On average, that's about 2.5 to 3 beers for the average male body, even less for a female. That amount of alcohol has the capability to intoxicate you. It doesn't help nowadays that police drive around as well, texting and driving, and even on the phone and driving. I've seen them at stop signs and red lights, just going by like this, and if they expect us to adhere to their laws and standards, then they should be more responsible and set more of an example for the rest of us. If texting and driving and even just looking at your phone, at Instagram, what have you, is the equivalent of driving drunk, then that alone is enough reason not to do it. Plenty of things can be done to prevent texting and driving, from turning the phone off and keeping it in your back pocket, to setting it in the back seat where it's out of reach, where you can't just pick it up and look at it regardless. You can also pull over on the side of the road and give that person a call and let them know what you're doing and how long it will take for you to arrive at your destination and what needs to be done there. I'm guilty of all of this as well. I've been driving down the road and held my phone up on the steering wheel while driving, thinking that it's multitasking, when in reality it's simply going back and forth from one task to the other and not giving each the amount of focus that they require. Simply doing this can take your attention away from the road from that split second that someone's going to pull out in front of you and you're going to slam into the back of them and cause irreparable damage to your body, your vehicle, and if you do end up fatally injuring them, your mind, because no one wants that on their hands. If you're willing to sacrifice everything, then you need to take a look back on what you're doing. 5,474 people died last year alone due to texting and driving. All those people's lives could have been saved had people just been more responsible and set their phones down and not been so careless. 448,000 more were injured, and that's just senseless that almost 500,000 people died, or not died, but were injured simply because people don't want to take the time to focus on their driving. The risk is not worth the reward, and basically there's more to lose than getting a reservation at a restaurant. You can wait the extra 15 to 20 minutes at the restaurant as opposed to showing up in the ER to find your loved ones there lying motionless under under all sorts of medical equipment. It's just not worth it's just not worth it, basically. We've been told not to drink and drive, now we need to be told not to text and drive. Take responsibility and look out for the safety of yourself and others on the road.